Hey everybody, what's going on? Now, a lot of people that I talk to when it comes to business, especially people who are just starting out, they always come with this same problem. They want to do something that they love, that they're passionate about, and they also want to make money at the same time. But a lot of people I know have a lot of trouble tying all these elements together to find essentially what their life purpose can be. Now, of course, there isn't going to be a magic bullet where you're just going to watch some video and suddenly you know your life's purpose. But what I want to do in this section is introduce you to a Japanese concept called Ikigai, which translates to a reason for being. And it's going to be a framework that's going to show you exactly how to think about finding something that you love, something that the world needs, and something that you can actually make money from, and just wrap it all together. And that could be your thing. And so again, you're not going to essentially find your life purpose suddenly by watching this video, but it's going to give you a framework so you can take that first step in your discovery of what you enjoy to do while making money from doing it. So whether you're a salesperson or a startup, or you already work for another person, either way, it's very important as human beings to have meaning behind what we do so we can actually get out of bed excited and do what we need to do every single day. Otherwise, we just won't be motivated. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into finding your Ikigai. All right, so one of the first problems that people have when it comes to trying to find a balance between what they enjoy and how they can make money from it is that they might have a passion, but they just don't know how to make money from that passion, right? You might really like basketball or baseball or rock climbing or yoga, but you don't know how to make money from that thing. The other problem that another person might have is that you might be making money doing something, but you aren't passionate about it. And it's pretty common for people to have a job, or maybe they're doing a business where they're making a good amount of money, but they just don't enjoy their day to day. And the final challenge I'll talk about that people commonly have is that you might be passionate about something and you know that it makes money, and you see other people making money from your passion, but from your perspective, you're not able to make any money from it while other people are. So why is that? The opportunity is there, other people are making money from it, but for some reason, you're not able to do what other people are doing. And so in this section, in finding your Ikigai, what we're going to do is we're going to cover all of these questions so that you can get closer to something that you enjoy while being able to make money from it. And that's going to be incredibly important as a startup, entrepreneur, or even a B2B sales professional, because if you're not passionate about what you're selling, it's just going to be so much more difficult to sell that thing. And if you don't have the passion and motivation to get out of bed and get going every single day, the chances of success will actually be a lot lower. So that's why in this section, I want to make sure that whatever thing that you are working on or whatever thing that you're selling, you actually care about it, and it actually can make you a substantial amount of money relative to what you are looking for. But before we go into that, let me show you a trap that most people fall into, and that is this cycle of stagnant growth. So let's start on the left side, the blue little circle. So a lot of people go out there and they make money doing something that they hate, but they need money so that they can live and put food on the table, which is understandable. Now it cycles over to the right side, which means that after they make this money doing something they don't like, they spend money on things they don't need because they think that they see it as a release or a way to blow off steam. So then after they blow off that steam, they're like, oh shoot, I just spent all my money on this thing I didn't really need, so I got to go back to work, and then repeat the cycle over and over again. And I see this everywhere, whether it's someone's an entrepreneur or they're working for somebody else. This is process of making money, spending it, making it, and spending it. But during the cycle, a lot of people just aren't happy with what they're doing, and they just fall into this cyclical pattern and just never really grow. And so what we want to do is, if you find yourself in this pattern, or maybe you have some tendencies similar to this, I'm going to show you how you can break these patterns so that you can actually do something you enjoy and make money from it, and stay away from stagnant growth and just keep pushing forward. Because the truth is, life is too good to be doing something you hate for money to buy things you don't need. I think most people, no matter what culture you're from, can agree on this. You might as well make the most out of your life doing things that you actually want to do, and not waste your money on dumb things because you just don't like your life. And so let's go ahead and help you solve these issues and get closer to your Ikigai. The next thing I want to share with you is that there are an infinite amount of ways to make money in this world, right? Literally an infinite amount of ways. You might as well do something you actually care about. And the reason why so many people fall into this trap of making money doing something they don't enjoy is because they are influenced by their surroundings. Whatever their parents tell them to do, or whatever their friends say is a cool job or a cool business to do, that's what people usually fall into. But the reality is, because of the internet and because of all these opportunities that now exist in this time period for human beings, it's the best time to be an entrepreneur or to be in business, because you can make money in so many different ways. And because there is this abundant amount of money in the world and opportunity for you, then you might as well do something you actually enjoy. And that is what we are trying to solve here. Now, with all of that said, now I would like to introduce you to the concept of Ikigai, which again is a Japanese concept which translates as a reason for being. Here are the 4 Ikigai questions that you have to ask yourself in order to get closer to figuring out what you actually enjoy and what you can make money from. So the first is, what do you love? Number 2, what are you good at? Number 3, what the world needs? And number 4, what people will pay you for. So obviously the goal is to answer all of these questions and find something that overlaps in all 4 different questions. So as you can see here, this is basically the Ikigai map. And the Ikigai is going to sit right in the middle where all of these circles, the yellow, red, and blue, and green, overlap. And so on the right side, it's going to be what the world needs. On the bottom, what people will pay you for. On the left, what you're good at. And finally, at the top, what you love. And as you can see, when you find the intersection of all these 4 different answers put together, your Ikigai is going to be right there, smack in the middle. Now, for a lot of people, you may not be able to align everything in the middle right away. So let's say you're doing something you love and something you're good at. And so that is called a passion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make money from it. Now over here, if you're doing something that people will pay you for and you're pretty good at it, well, that is called a profession, but it doesn't mean you actually love it. And it doesn't mean that the world actually needs it. People are just willing to pay you money for it. And on the bottom right, we got vocation. And that is when you're doing something that the world needs and people are going to pay you for it, but you don't love it and you're not good at it, and it's not gonna be great for you, because if you don't love it, then how can you even enjoy your life? Now on the top right, it's gonna be what you love and what the world needs, which is your mission. But just because you have a mission doesn't mean people will actually pay you money for it. And so you could do nonprofits and things like that, but the reality is you need money so that you can support your dreams and support other people. So by only having a mission, you can only go so far in life, because although money is not the root of everything in this world, having it does allow a lot of opportunities to flourish. By combining all of these things and putting it together to get your Ikigai, this is how you're going to find something that you can just be excited to do every single day while being paid. Now, here are going to be some different ways you can use your Ikigai, and this is going to be the Ikigai key notes. So if you are starting a company, you're an entrepreneur, you're starting a startup, you can use your Ikigai to figure out what kind of startup you should actually do. Or if you are working for another person, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? Especially if you're a professional salesperson and you're just really good at selling, then having an Ikigai will help you choose a company to work for, because you can actually sell something that you care about and you love and you're passionate about. You're going to be able to find meaning in your everyday job. So when it comes to Ikigai, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. This is just literally a concept where you can just do something that you actually enjoy and make a good living from doing it. And the reason why this is so important is because if you don't have a purpose of why you go to your day job every single day, then you're either just going to be unhappy and eventually you may even quit. So, again, life is too short to be making money doing something you don't love, to buy things you don't need. So let's make sure that you're doing something you enjoy and make that money. Now, again, if you're a salesperson, it's going to help you choose a product or service that you actually want to sell, and it's going to help you choose a company that you want to work for. So again, no matter what position you're in, whether it's an entrepreneur or employee or someone who's just trying to figure it out, having an Ikigai will definitely give you your North Star in the direction that you want to go. So with that said, let's go ahead and find your Ikigai. So going back to this map over here, I'm going to show you how to answer each of these questions in a specific way so that you can get very clear on your Ikigai. Okay, so step one, things that you love. So when you think about the things that you love, it literally can be anything, and it doesn't necessarily have to relate to business. This is where you just want to brainstorm and just get as many ideas out as possible. So how you can find the things that you love if you don't really have a thing yet, you just have to think, well, what do you like to do on your free time? Do you like to watch TV shows? Do you like to watch comedies? Do you like to skateboard? Or do you like to ride motorcycles? Whatever it is, those are the things that you actually enjoy doing without anyone having to ask you to do them or pay you to do them. It could even be shopping, exercising at the gym, looking at the stock market. It literally can be anything. And so for me, for example, I like to look at fashion and music and culture in general. I like to go on websites like hypebeast.com and High Snobiety to see the latest news in fashion, music, culture, whatever. And so even though I'm in the sales world and the e-learning world, I have a passion for fashion, and that's just who I am, right? So again, put down, even if it's unrelated to business, put down the things that you actually enjoy under the things that you love. Number two is the things that you're actually good at. And again, it could be anything. It does not have to relate to business. It could be that people tell you have a great fashion sense, or you're just a guru at trading stocks, or maybe you're really good with people and persuasion or teaching, whatever it is, just go ahead and put it down. So my example for me is that my strengths naturally are in psychology, sales, teaching, and I have a really good understanding and personal interest in how the internet is changing society. And so these are the things that I just naturally feel like I am pretty good at. And so you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be the top 1% of the world. You just have to think, well, what am I pretty good at relative to other people? And then boom, there you go. Those are the things that you're naturally good at. Now, if you don't have any experience or skills yet, and you feel like you're not good at anything, just list some things that you believe you can be good at, or you're just interested in, because it's not always about what skills you currently have in the moment. It's what you aspire to learn and what you inspire to build skills in. Okay, so now number three, what the world needs. So how you're going to figure out what the world needs is you just want to research industries you're interested in and industries that relate to your passion. So in the first step and the second step, things you love and things you're good at, and just like figure out, how this industry works. So you want to get inside the heads of people who are also interested in these topics, empathize with their daily lives, and really try to understand their pains, right? So it's all about finding that pain. Where do they experience the most pains? And that's where you're going to find what the world needs. So for example, if you love animals, then you can figure out, okay, well, within the animal world, where are people experiencing pain? And it could be, well, certain species like pandas or, rhinos are going extinct. And so maybe you want to help with that cause and you want to help these species from being extinct, right? So, or maybe if you're into fitness and you really love working out, you want to see, okay, in the fitness world, where are people having pains? Well, a lot of people are unhealthy and overweight and they want to get in shape. So that is a pain that people want to solve, right? So no matter what industry you're in, literally just whatever you're passionate about, try to figure out what the pains are. And the reality is, no matter what your passion is, an industry does exist in it. It might be a small industry, it might be a large industry, but there always is a way to make money almost out of any type of topic. So don't think that your thing is too small or nobody cares about it, because there is always a community out there in the world for you. And because of the internet, it's a lot more easier to get connected with this community. So go ahead and research industries you're interested in and find the pains that people have in these industries. And how you're going to do that is you can literally just Google the top 10 blogs in your specific market and just read all these popular blog posts, read the comments, see what people are thinking, join the Facebook groups, the LinkedIn groups, see what people are talking about, research the top 10 books in this market and ask, what challenges are these books solving for this demographic? Who are the top 10 influencers in the market? What are they saying? And, how are they talking to their audience? Look at the comments if they have an Instagram or their Facebook or whatever platform they're using. You can even use Quora and look at what posts people are talking about, because on Quora, people like to ask questions and people like to answer them. So you'll see exactly the pains in every industry. So really, at this point, there's really no excuse. If you are interested in some type of industry, you should be able to just Google all of these pains. And I'm literally giving you the specific how how-tos to figure out where to find the pain. So if you're having trouble finding the pain, and this is not a cop-out of saying use Google, but Google, you can literally just type in anything and find any of your answers, and this is what you need to look for. Now, if not much information is available online for your industry, just consider reaching out to 20 people in your desired market and just ask them for a meeting, ask them to pick their brain and learn about that industry a little more. You can talk to them over email, talk to them over the phone, or even meet them in person. So, if someone in your industry is working in the industry, you can literally just send them an email and ask them if they want to talk, so you can just learn more about that industry. And you'll be surprised that a lot of people will actually take you up on that offer because they love to share their knowledge, and that's just how people are in general. In solving for what the world needs, I'm going to give you an example of how I did it for myself. I have a love for culture, as I was saying in the beginning, and I'm pretty good with people, especially when it comes to teaching and sales and understanding how the internet works and how it shapes society today. So for me, what the world needs is overall, people all around the world, they need better education at an affordable price so that they can make a difference and better their lives. So I can take all the knowledge that I have in sales and just share it with people who don't have access to Silicon Valley, right? Which is where I got most of my sales experience. And what I can do, take it even step further, is that I can make the topic of sales something that is cool and enjoyable, similar to how people enjoy fashion or music. And so you might notice it or you may not notice it throughout the entire course, but there's a certain aesthetic that I'm going for and a certain style in which I'm teaching, where I'm not trying to be like the traditional button-up, salesperson wearing a suit and holding a briefcase. I'm trying to make it a lot more youthful and fun and tailored for startups or people who have energy, right? And people who want to adapt to this new innovative world where you don't have to wear a suit to work every day, depending on your industry. Not only am I tapping into my love for culture and how society works, and I'm also tapping into my ability to communicate with people when it comes to sales and teaching. I'm able to combine all these things to create sales legacy for you guys, to create something which I believe is a very valuable sales course at an affordable price that anybody can buy wherever they are in the world and learn at their own pace over the internet. And I just think that that's amazing because, man, I went to school at the University of Southern California, and during the time of this recording, full tuition at USC costs $50,000 a year. So, multiply that by 4 years, that's $200,000. Like, not everyone is going to be able to afford that around the world. And I definitely know that. And it was even hard for me to afford. If I'm getting that education plus working at Oracle in Silicon Valley, not everyone is fortunate to be in these positions. And so what I want to do is I want to create a product that takes that same knowledge that I technically paid thousands and thousands of dollars for and spent years developing, and just give it to you guys all in one go for an affordable price. And that's the value that I'm bringing to the world. And so as you can see here, there's always a creative way to combine your passion and what the world needs. Now, the last step is what you can be paid for. So now that you have an understanding of what the world needs, you want to figure out who the leaders are in this market and what kind of product and services that they're offering and what business models are they using. So you want to find key information like how much revenue these guys are making, how much profit they're making, if they have funding, employee size, what kind of product or services that they have, and how are they doing distribution, meaning how are they getting it out there into the world. Now, if none of this information is available for you to do research on the people in this industry, you can actually just, once you start pitching clients on your ideas, you can just ask them how much they're willing to pay to solve that specific problem. So an example that I'm going to use for you guys is that when I was thinking about creating a sales course or becoming a sales coach or sales consultant, I looked at the industry and I said, well, there are a lot of sales training companies out there that charge thousands of dollars for in-person coaching, and there's a handful of sales e-learning companies, but no one's really doing it that big, and it's still very expensive. So that might be an opportunity. And I also found that people who are doing what I want to do are already being paid for similar type of work, right? So really the big market in the sales industry during this time of this recording is that a lot of the big sales companies are doing in-person training, and they're charging $1,000 or more per person in the room, and they'll maybe charge per day, right? And so not a lot of people are willing to spend $1,000 per day on sales coaching. They're just not. And so I know that there's a demand out there. I know that people are paying thousands of dollars for these coaches who may or may not be that great. And so I'm saying, okay, well, how can I get even better information and better training, put it on the internet and charge a lower price and give it to the world? And so that's the opportunity that I found, where I know that if I create a sales course like Sales Legacy or any product I create in the future, people are going to be willing to buy it because I know that people are already paying thousands of dollars for it, and I'm just doing it in a different way that aligns with my personality and my passions. So like I was saying, the business idea that I had offered world-class sales training at an affordable price relative to the competition, with information products where students can learn by watching videos and doing worksheets at their own pace, and also adding my own flavor to this type of business, similar to what Warby Parker did for glasses or what WeWork did for the co-working space. I want to do something similar, but in the sales world, and I want to be the Warby Parker of sales training, or the WeWork of sales training. And so now I'm coming in at a very different angle, and it's something that I can wake up every day and be excited for. So again, we just covered exactly how you can answer things like what you love, what the world needs, what people will pay you for, and what you are good at. And finding the thing in the middle, your Ikigai, that is going to be your North Star that is going to direct you into what you should be doing every day to live a fulfilling life. And it's not about just making money, because making money for the sake of money can actually lead to a lot of depression and may not be that great for you. And so finding a balance between all of these things, or not necessarily a balance, but where the point where everything aligns, is going to help you to carve out your own future. So with that said, now that we covered everything when it comes to the Ikigai, I have a Ikigai worksheet for you guys to download, where you're going to be able to fill this out in a worksheet form so that you can be very clear on finding your Ikigai. All right, guys. So now that we are in the Ikigai worksheet, as you can see over here, it's going to be a 2-page worksheet, and it's going to be fillable as a PDF, so you can type directly on the PDF itself, or if you're someone that likes to print it out and write by hand, that's totally fine too. So as you can see here in this worksheet, you'll be filling out your Ikigai to find your reason for being. Note that your Ikigai can change over time depending on new experiences and new information. So whatever you put down here, know that it's not set in stone. You're going to learn new things, experience new things, and your taste and what you enjoy may change. So you can always go back and change your Ikigai, but you just need some type of framework for now. So the first stage is list 5 things that you love. Second is list 5 things you're good at. Third, list 5 things you believe the world needs. And fourth, list 5 things people will pay you for. So just go ahead and just write it all down over here. And then from there, what you're going to do is move on to page number 2. Number 5 is based on the overlap between the different elements you just filled in, right? Which is, questions 1 to 4. What is the closest thing you have to your Ikigai? And again, in the beginning, not everything may overlap right away. It might be only 2 of the things or maybe 3 of the things, but you just want to get as close as possible, because it's not about finding your life's purpose just, literally in 10 minutes. It's about making an effort to try to find it. And then as time goes on and you gain more experience, you're going to get closer and closer to finding your reason for being. Then number 6, based on your Ikigai, what do you believe is the most critical pain people related to your Ikigai experience? And so that's when you're going to, once everything aligns, find the pain that you believe you can solve, right? And so from number 7, what solutions already exist that solves these pains? And so this is where you can start brainstorming product ideas or services that solve for this pain that is related to the industry that you actually care about and you believe you can make money in. And lastly, number 8, does your current product or service solve this problem already? Assuming if you already have a product, right? If you're a business or a startup, or if you're a salesperson who is selling another person's product. But if not, let's say if you don't have a product or service, what kind of product or service will you have to create to solve this problem? And how long will it take to create this product or service? So from here, if you just don't have anything yet and you're an entrepreneur starting out, trying to figure out what you want to do, then just come up with ideas of, how can you solve these problems, and understand how long it's actually going to take you to create the minimal version of it. Doesn't have to be the full suite, and you just put that information right here. So after you complete this worksheet, what you should have a really good understanding in is you should have something kind of close to your Ikigai, something you care about, you love, you're good at it, the world needs it, and you can be paid for it. And that's, finding this sweet spot in the middle can really make a difference in your life. And then from there, it's understanding, once you get your Ikigai, what pains do people experience, how you can solve for that pains, and what kind of product and services do you want to sell in this industry to solve for that pain. And that's how you're going to build your business. So that said, go ahead and download this worksheet, right? The Ikigai worksheet, fill it out as best as you can. And then from there, once you fill it out as best as you can, you just move on to the next lesson and continue going through the sales strategy section of this course. So that said, again, go ahead and download this. It's fillable as a PDF. You can write directly on your computer, or if you want to print it out, that's totally fine too. And so with that said, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson once you fill this out.